With the holidays upon us, late nights and travel can lead to sleep disruption, which can bring a series of challenges for your mind and your body. Joining us for tips on sleeping well is therapist and sleep expert Christine Lawler. Christine, before we get into the tips, could you remind us why people should take stock of their current sleep quality and quantity?
Sleep is the single most easily modifiable determinant of our mental and physical health. It impacts literally every single function in our brain and body. And sometimes we get busy and we get caught up in all of the excitement of everything going on, and we forget how important it is. And so, if you want to have fun over the holidays, if you want to enjoy your travel, whatever you're doing, you will prioritize your sleep.
Such great advice. And let's key into the holidays a bit. So adults who are indulging in maybe late nights, or maybe they're on the move and they're traveling and they're, maybe taking naps on planes or in back of cars, and they get all kind of out of sorts. How can they get good sleep, and why is it important specifically during times of sort of transition where you're not in your normal routine to emphasize getting good sleep?
Yeah, in some ways we have to practice radical acceptance. Sleep on a trip just isn't going to be as good. We also know that alcohol directly impacts our sleep quality. And so, maybe that's a good reason to cut back on the indulgence a little bit. And you'll just have to compensate. You might need to sleep in a little bit later, go to bed earlier sometimes, but most importantly, just know that when you get home, you need to bounce back. Give yourself a couple days on the tail end of your trip to really recharge and recuperate.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I wanted to focus on sleep, but you brought up drinking, alcohol, and of course, people tend to eat a lot more sugary foods during the holidays. In addition to sleep, what else can people do to kind of regulate a little bit so that they don't get completely out of sorts from, all the booze and sugar that they might imbibe?
Yeah. One of the best things that you can do is get fresh air and sunshine. The sun, when it hits our eyeballs, it helps regulate your sleep system. So first thing in the morning, when you wake up, get outside. If you drink your coffee on the balcony or a patio or go for a walk, that's going to be really, really good for your sleep system. Similarly, go on a walk in the late evening before the sun sets to, again, get that fresh air, sunshine, and tell your brain and body that it's time to wind down.
Okay, now let's get back on sleep. We get to the other side of Thanksgiving, and there's almost this heightened period of time where people are pushing hard, they're working hard, and they're playing hard until that rest comes, Christmas Eve. And they might be going with, less than 6 hours, maybe 5 hours sleep because they go to a holiday party and then they're trying to push hard at work or get the kids to where they need to be. So is it better to just completely crash and catch up on the weekends? Or does that throw you even into more of a tailspin in terms of getting, quality balance of rest?
Honestly, it throws you even more into a tailspin. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm a victim of doing that to myself right now. Especially if you are traveling, please bring hand sanitizer. You are so much more susceptible to sickness when you are sleep deprived. And so this in between Thanksgiving and Christmas grind, it's the end of Q4. We are go, 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 and then crash. Unfortunately, if you do not provide the space and time for your body to recuperate, you will spend your holidays sick. So look, we have to be realistic with what our limitations are. I do think you're still playing with fire if you go, go, go all week long and then try to recuperate on the weekend. So at most, I would say once every 3 days, really plan to have some quality recharge time where you get an uninterrupted night of sleep. You're not trying to function off of 5-6 hours. Data is abundantly clear. We think that we can function well off of 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And the data says differently. We do not function optimally. Our immune resistance is not as strong and our cognitive function is not as strong. So the go, 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 and then crash, it just honestly is not worth it.
You bring up such a great point. You burn the candle from both ends and you feel pretty good the next morning when you get that shot of caffeine in you, but usually it's the day after where it really catches up to you. So if you have a holiday party on a Wednesday or Thursday, maybe bookended on both sides to have a quiet night at home, maybe watch a movie, get a good relaxing meal at home. But let's talk children, because children are a whole nother thing when it comes to sleep. And I know this is really where your expertise shines. So for babies and their parents, sleep is gold. So how do parents establish a solid routine considering all of the inconsistencies that happen with the holidays?
Yes. So also for them, it's going to be really important to get that fresh air and sunshine morning and evening. That's a great way to reset their body clock. Bring your gear with you, a portable white noise machine, a car seat cover, some kind of blackout device, whether you're blacking out the room or, you have something like a slumber pod that you can bring with you. Bring a bed sheet from home. That can be really, really important for little babies, so that even though the environment is different, there are some anchors that feel the same. And then the biggest thing for small children is the time change. So my advice is, if you are traveling east, don't change your schedule. Meaning, if you're in Las Vegas like me and your baby has a 7 to 7 bedtime and you're going to New York, just move your schedule to 10 to 10. If you are going west, you'll need to adjust, because you do not want to go to Hawaii and be on a 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. bedtime. So you'll get a nap when you get to your destination, wake up baby, get some outside time, and then do bedtime at your regular time at home. So if you're going east, don't change your schedule. If you're going west, you'll need to.
All right, sleep expert, I'm going to throw a curveball at you this time. So I'm asking for a friend, I promise you. So this friend has some in-laws who come with their children, and they're very loose parents, shall we say. They let the kids have the iPad and fall asleep with it. There's no bedtime, but you can clearly see it's causing chaos for the children and for everybody around you. Can guests of such parents parent the children into sleep times, and how would you broach that?
Yeah, if you have kids of your own, that's an easy way to, if those guests are in your home and your territory, you can still establish your boundaries. Like, hey, we don't do screen time at this time. Like, sorry guys, you can do whatever you want, but my kids are going to have to do XYZ. In general, I would say, depending on the dynamic, I would kind of say, as a therapist, don't rock the boat. It's just going to be a couple days. It might not be worth it. And we'll just roll with it, and we'll get back on track when we have our space to ourselves.
Following up on that, for parents who have not maybe benefit or have not implemented strict sleep patterns, what could they benefit from if they're able to get to the other side of the change management?
Yeah, just having that consistency. Bedtime routines are really important. So, every night at this time at 7:30, it's time to hop in the bath. And then we do XYZ. It's great for young kids to have some good rough and tumble play 30 minutes before bath time. So deep squeezes, wrestling, throwing kids around. Obviously be safe, but kids love good rough and tumble play. Get all their wiggles out, do lots of jumping and good proprioceptive input, and then the bath, and then some stories, and then bedtime at a consistent time. With older kids, take away the power struggle of actually falling asleep, and just have the boundary be you are in your room, lights off, with a nightlight at 8 p.m. If you want to read under your nightlight until you're tired enough to fall asleep, that's fine. If you want to play with stuffed animals, that's actually fine. So when we, with our kind of toddler age kids, have this power struggle of go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, that actually doesn't work. Because how well would you and I fall asleep if we had somebody on us to go to bed, calm down, stop moving, go to bed? So we need to have the boundary and the structure around sleep time and environment, but let their body learn how to wind down.
You know what, Christine, I might have just learned a routine for adults as well. We're all on those devices right till bedtime, but when you explain the benefits of the rough and tumble into the bath and the soothing bedtime story, you really get a picture of what all bodies need to kind of wind down at the end of the day. Really appreciate you sharing all this advice with us. It's going to be a great holiday. Christine Lawler, thank you so much.
Thank you.